McCaffrey?
Leahy.
Is that Leahy? Okay, I've got to make sure I say it right.
No worries.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to Gold's Gym, and we
Yeah.
found a quiet space where there's not a lot of crashing bars going on at the moment. And I called Leahy up a day or so ago, and I told her that I was really, really nervous to come to Austin and to train in a gym away from my gym. And she welcomed me into her arms and said that she would take me on a tour, and I'm really, really glad that you did.
Yeah,
It's made me feel a whole lot better for my exciting birthday workout tomorrow. So Leahy, tell me, what do you do at Gold's to make women, in particular, women over 40, feel really comfortable coming in here?
Well, here at Gold's, we generally take every new member who, male or female, who signs up, and we take them through an assessment. It's a complimentary training session.
Awesome, so free.
Yeah, so free, and it's mainly just to get our members off on the right foot.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, do a body composition, let them know where they're at, so they have a baseline to start at. Second thing we're gonna do is look at their movement patterns, see if there's anything we need to fix or things we can prevent from them, like going into repetitive movements that could cause chronic injuries or chronic pain.
Big issue for me.
Yeah. And then thirdly, it's just diving deeper into their goals. So with all my female clients that I take on, no matter what their goal is, we are going to lift weights and we are going to get stronger.
Awesome.
And a lot of it is just getting them out on the weight floor, just because when I first started, I was intimidated too, and I'd be like, I don't want to be in anybody's way. I don't want to get on the floor. So I would stay in my realm of what I knew, which was the 5-pound dumbbells and the elliptical or treadmill.
Yeah.
But once I got into weightlifting and I got a coach, and he taught me how to lift, and then I started learning more about it. Just all the benefits of being stronger, and my weight, just whole body composition was amazing. So for my clients, especially my women, I want them to feel comfortable on the weight floor, B, know what they're doing, and C, just have a good time out there and feel sexy.
That's fantastic. And hey, after 40, 40 is the new 25.
It is.
What's 50 the new? Because that's where I'm a whole lot closer to 50. So let's call 50 the new 30 just for me.
Sounds good.
So one of the things that you probably know about, obviously, is the bone density issues that happen for women after they hit menopause. But what you might not be aware of is that for people who are using a ketogenic diet, and that means, especially if they're using it therapeutically, chances are they have epilepsy or cancer, Parkinson's, MS, McArdle's disease, PCOS, and almost all of those diseases have one thing in common with them, other than the fact that keto can be extremely helpful, and that is that they're at risk of losing bone density, which puts them at a greater risk for fractures.
For sure.
And of course, that's because of the meds that they're on, as well as the lack of exercise that, just basically feeling really crappy all the time can lead to. So if I were to come into this gym and say to you, I have epilepsy, I want to come and train here, how would you handle that? What would you do?
Well, we always have you fill out a Part Q form first, which just talks about your health history, and of course, I would want to learn more about what epilepsy, what type you have, or if there are types, because that's not something I'm familiar with, kind of out of my scope of practice. But I would just want to know as much as I can about your condition, to get medical clearance, obviously, and 3, just mainly tell me what are things we need to watch out for, because with clients that have asthma or exercise-induced asthma, with them I always tell them carry your inhaler with you on our workouts just in case. And I know that if something should happen, they have their inhaler.
So you could tailor a safety plan that was specific to the individual?
And then we'll know more of what to monitor. And then if something should happen, we'll know a protocol to go by.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So having that safety plan, I think, is really important. And it's awesome to know that can happen here at Gold's. So if you live in the Austin area and you want an amazing place to train, come down here, talk to Leahy, ask for anything you want. They're super, super open and really friendly, and I can't wait to come in here tomorrow and smash some bars. Thanks so much, Leahy.
Yeah,
it's really great to meet you.
Great.
So I made it. I'm here. I'm at Gold's Gym. I do feel a lot less intimidated because of my great conversation with Leahy yesterday. But one of the main reasons that I'm intimidated to come to a gym like this, it's not really the equipment. It's the monsters that use the equipment, like these guys. Say hi.
What's up? Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Rob. Good to meet you. I am so pumped that these guys agreed to come and train with me today, because it's my birthday, so this is a really awesome birthday present. So it's pretty easy, guys, for someone who looks like me to be intimidated by people who look like you, but I know that you guys get intimidated too. So I
next to this guy. No, like, intimidation for me, like, I started lifting when I was a junior in high school, I think, and I was 115 pounds. I was tiny, the smallest person in my class. I literally wore sleeves my entire high school year because they didn't want anybody to see my arms, you know. I was like that self-conscious about it. And then like I would come and speak to older people in the gym that were more seasoned, and I'd like try and get pointers from them. And I would see kind of, they would tell me about their beginnings, and that was kind of comforting because it's like we all start at the same place, we all start on the level playing field. So if we could take that and move forward with it, you know, play for the long term, I mean, just build day by day, and then, you know, don't let the uncomforts of your, you know, you just gotta go at it and learn and know that it's a process, and not try and meet the end goal on the first day by day. You know?
Awesome. How about you?
Yeah, mine was it was in my off season in college, and I played football in college, and I was, you know, a big tight football player, but I saw these people doing capoeira in the middle of like right by the library, and it was just, they were doing all these acrobatics, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I was like, let me do this, and so I just started doing it. And the first day I'm learning how to do the ginga, which is like the initial move that you do all of your moves from, and I felt like just a fish out of water, you know. I just felt my motor patterns were all messed up. I felt I was a football player, you know. And for several months watching these people that are like, you know, probably 70, 80 pounds lighter than me, you know, moving amazing, and it was intimidating, and it was also frustrating because my mind knew what it wanted to do, but my body wasn't doing it yet. Yeah, and it's what he was talking about. It's like you really just have to just continue to do it and get the coaching, and there's certain cues that are going to work for different people, like especially like with lifting. You may not, one of the cues that you get may not work for you, may not make sense, but then another coaching cue that you get makes a lot of sense, and then all of a sudden you're focusing on that, and then if you continue to do that, it becomes less thought out, it becomes more just a natural thing. And of course, the more natural things become, the more comfortable you are. And the other thing is just like, we're very approachable. People like us are very approachable.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that by like DMing them and saying, hey, you want to come and train with me in Austin? That kind of works for me.
And we were both like, he texted me like at 4 a.m, and he's like, what's this about, you know? And I was like, I don't know, but let's do it.
Lady?
Let's do it. So I think that people that are passionate about lifting, for instance, they're going to want to talk about it. So if you approach them, they're going to talk your ear off. If you ask them questions, they're going to want to talk about themselves. They're going to want to talk about their experiences. So don't be intimidated by that at all.
That's a really good point. And like, you guys do not get to the athletic levels that you have reached without putting the commitment in.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, you have a lot of knowledge. And I know it can be intimidating, especially, you know, when you're, I hate to admit it, but 48 and you're in a gym. And, you know, I was telling you guys earlier, my coach is like the same age as my son. And so I listen to him. He doesn't think I listen to him enough, but I really do. But I value his input so much because I couldn't have done what I have done without his help. And I have such a competitive drive in me that I will go and hurt myself if it means I can lift more weight. And so having a coach who just tells me to back off and get my motor patterns right, that really makes a difference. So I can't underscore enough how important that coaching aspect is, which is why gyms like this can be really, really effective places to start out, and why I would always support someone coming in and having, you know, coach sessions to start with. But just in case you're not quite ready for Gold's Gym, we're going to give you a couple of tips of things that you can do at home that are really, really excellent resistance exercises that don't require a lot of equipment or a lot of outlay of money, but are things you should be doing every day.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. So what do you guys want?
$20 to spend on gym equipment. I get one of those interchangeable weights where you can like unscrew it and then adjust the plates, and then you can buy more plates as you're able. But you could do a full body workout with just dumbbells. So we're gonna demonstrate a couple full body dumbbell workout basically. So you pick one first.
All right, so first exercise, this is a front raise to a side raise. You get a lot out of mixing body parts together, or you know, different movements together, because not only are you going to be able to like burn a little bit more fat by doing 2 movements together, especially if you're going from lower to upper body, but it's just basically it's going to burn more. So for front raise and side raise is basically a combo. Front raise, side raise.
I'll do a bicep tricep. I want to point out that my dumbbells are heavier than so,
I got the 17.5.
So like when you got limited weight, you really want to kind of really isolate the muscle and do something without much momentum, so you can really focus on the muscle and get a good workout with a lighter weight. So like for biceps, for instance, I'll do like a hang curl, which eliminates a lot of the momentum. So basically, you're parallel to the ground, your biceps are fully extended, and then you just go up, try and keep your upper arms vertical at all times, and then at the top of the movement, you can rotate your wrist out and really peak that bicep. It's going to be greater contraction and therefore more hypertrophy. For triceps, a good zero momentum exercise to do like a kickback, for instance. You want to try and get something to brace yourself with. Keep the upper part of your arm parallel to the ground, and then really focus on a squeeze at the top of the movement, and then back down. And don't rock it, you don't want to do that, but just parallel, squeeze, and then back down. It's a good tricep exercise.
All right, so I'm gonna do now a combination of a hamstring exercise and a back exercise. You can do them 1 rep of each, or you can complete all of the reps of one and then go to the other one. So the first one is called the Romanian deadlift, and I'm gonna go by the side because the most important thing here is not to focus on bending at the waist, but pushing your hips back and pushing them back forward. The other thing is when you're lowering the weight, you don't have to go all the way to the ground. You wanna go as low as your hamstring flexibility takes you. And the way you're gonna find out how low you can go is your back, when your back your spine loses that neutral position and it starts to bend, you're going too low. All right. The other one is a bent over row. So a bent over row is basically a lat movement, a back movement. You're going to squeeze it. So RDL, you're going to push your hips back and you're going to push your hips forward. So what I always tell people the first time they do this is try to pretend there's a wall behind your butt and you want to push that wall back. And then as you come up, you want to push forward. And the reason why is your glutes, and your glutes are responsible for extending your hip. So if you're focusing on moving your hips back and forward, you're gonna feel it in your glutes and your hamstring versus bending forward and you're just gonna feel it in your back, all right? So I'm gonna show a few reps of this. See, that's the lowest I can go. If I go any lower, you see how my back loses that neutral spine? So I'm coming up. So if I wanted to, I could either do this, RDL, squeeze at the top with the row, come back up, or I could do, let's say 10 reps of the RDL. And then after I do my 10 reps, I'll do 10 reps of the rows. Squeeze at the top, squeeze at the top. And like Robert said, you don't want to be jerking it. You want to definitely be focusing on feeling the muscle. And a good way to do that is on the way down, count to like 3 seconds. 3 seconds, then squeeze at the top, and then count down 3 seconds on the way down.
All right. I'm going to do another hamstring and a quad focus movement. So if you have a kettlebell, it works well too. But a good quad focus movement is like a goblet squat. So you can hold the dumbbell, whatever's comfortable for you. I like the more inline vertical movement, and you want to kind of play around with your foot placement, figure out what your body performs best at. I like to have slightly wider than shoulder width. Then you want to go down, try and keep your back locked in at all times, your chest forward, your shoulders rolled back, and really focus on the leg contraction there, and not jerking it or getting out of balance. And then a good hamstring is just a walking lunge. You can do it, standing in place, one leg at a time, or if you have the space, you can actually walk with it. Stretch, get the contraction, like so. That's your quad and your hamstring focus.
One of the things you can also do is body weight stuff. So everybody's at a different level when it comes to bodyweight stuff, but there's 5 million progressions of how to get better at stuff. So the first thing is a standard push-up, right? You would want to start if you feel like you don't have the upper body strength, you would want to start on an elevated surface. So the higher you are, the less weight you're going to be pushing. So you can see right here. When you feel more comfortable and you feel like you're stronger, you can lower that and you can maybe go on a bench at this height. At that point, the next thing you would want to, attempt is a push-up with your knees on the ground. So you would just have your feet like this, and you're not supporting your whole body. So you're just one of the things you want to also focus on is don't let your shoulders come out. You want to use your back. You'll feel your back muscles. If you turn your elbows in, you'll feel your back muscles support you on the way down. And as you get stronger, of course, you can go into a standard push-up. You can even get more advanced where you can bring your feet up on an elevated surface on a bench, and then you can bring your feet and put them up against the wall, and all of a sudden now you're getting into like a handstand push-up, which you see a lot in CrossFit, which is totally possible if you make the right progression. But that's a pretty good progression for push-ups. It's okay to be a high hip puller. As long as you're tight and you got leg rest. Because I used to do this. I swear, if you see one thing there, I just mastered this. So I would just go like this. I do that, So now.
intimidation of working out in a big gym like this with big guys like you. So that was really awesome. And what are your final words for people who still might be a little bit on the fence, even though I really hope that I've shown that it's really not all that scary? What are your final words for someone who wants to come to the gym?
I think just have the courage to take that first step. Make sure you just get yourself to the gym, and because I think that's the hardest part is getting moving. Once you get yourself to the gym, worry about today, worry about what you can improve today. Wake up tomorrow, do the same thing again. Just like take it one day at a time. That's what I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is it okay that I only go to the gym 3 times a week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 2 times a week. 1 time a week is better than 0.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really good message. How about you, Ron?
I mean, the biggest, most shredded, strongest guy in the gym didn't start out that way. Like everybody has to start from ground zero. So they're the ones that are most intimidating are likely the ones that are most willing to help because they respect and appreciate the effort you're putting forth, and they understand that it's a process. And if you go through it with that attitude and enjoy it for the long term instead of the short term, then you can't fail. If you enjoy the day to day, whether you hit the weight, whether you miss the weight, just simply being there and like trying to progress, then the trend will always go upward if you're pushing, and you'll reach the goal. Whether it's tomorrow or a week from tomorrow or 10 years from tomorrow, you'll get there.
Those are really wise words. And definitely, guys who look hard on the outside are actually really soft and squishy on the inside and really big-hearted. So don't let them intimidate you. Get yourself into a gym, because if you make the effort to get in there, then you deserve to be there. Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it.